Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about what's in store for you according to where your Vedic sidereal ascendant or moon sign are. What's in store for you for the month of June? I got some interesting information for everyone, so listen up so that you can get your monthly prediction. So what I'm talking about is you must have your Vedic sidereal moon or ascendant. No, we don't worry about the sun. The moon is so important. Well, I shouldn't say that. We do worry about the sun. We worry about all the planets. But the focal point for these interpretations are going to be if you listen to your ascendant sign and or your moon sign. Okay? How do you know what your Vedic sidereal moon or ascendant sign are? You're going to have to go either to a calculation, and one I can recommend is on my website, galacticcenter.org, because it's a free chart calculator. You can go there, and when you put in all your data, but you scroll to the very, very bottom, you'll see where it says AS, which is your ascendant, and MO, which is your moon. Do not try to read the charts, please. They are constructed in a way that you will not understand if you are a Western astrologer, trust me. The numbers represent signs and people think they're the houses. Just don't bother with that. Go to the bottom, get those two signs. And or a better way to do this, I'm serious, is to get my Galactic Planner. My Galactic Planner will do so much more than what I'm doing today for you, but it will give you your Vedic chart. It will give you your chart. You put in all your data and it will give you a printout, a beautiful printout of your chart and tell you explicitly where your ascendant and your moon are. And that is if you go to galacticplanner.com. So with that, I think we're going to get going and we're going to start talking about how all this is constructed. But before I do, I want to remind everyone, if you do go to my website, and even if you don't, go there and sign up for my free newsletter. My free newsletter gives you all of my predictions every week. So go to galacticcenter.org and sign up and check out my Patreon page. This is a spiritual community that you're going to want to be part of. We all need this connection with like-minded people, right? You're going to find that all on my Galactic Center website. Furthermore, if this inspires you to learn Vedic astrology, I have the best online university. It is a community of astrologers. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com. All right, let's get going. Let's talk about if your moon or your ascendant sign sit in Aries, then what I want to talk about is where this Mars-Ketu conjunction is coming together for you. It's going to be in your 5th house. And the 5th house deals with the mind, intelligence. It deals with our creativity. And these two planets there will open up your mind, your creativity, but it will make you a little bit angry about things, aggravated. This is kind of an aggravating aspect in the house that deals with the mind. Now, if you have children, they will be more aggressive, they will be more angry, they will really want more attention. In other words, they'll be doing things to grab your attention. May not be so pleasant. So be aware that this is what's going to be happening. And actually, it's going to be in alignment for 2 months. So this is what I want you to think about. But it will really ignite your creative mind in terms of very interesting thoughts, unusual thoughts. Now, if you are, let's say, trying to get pregnant, this is not the time for that because this would affect things in a negative way, I think, for this month and possibly July. But it is a time, unless there are other positive aspects, for disruption concerning, yes, concerning so many things with children, but the creative mind is open. And be careful with investments during this time. This is not the best time for you to go into investments. You might regret it. If your moon or your ascendant sits in the sign of sidereal Taurus, then you've got this Mars Ketu in your 4th house. See, this Mars Ketu is going to predominate everything going on within these next 2 months. And while it's in the 4th house, you might be renovating your home. There's something about things being broken up and torn up in your house. Now that would be a positive. It might mean that you're going to move around the months of June and July. Probably this is a possibility, especially if you want to move. May not be an easy move, let me tell you that. The other thing is, you could have things break down in your house and or in your car, so make sure you have insurance on both. Now, another thing is, the 4th house does deal with your mother. If your mother's still around, she needs to be looked after. There could be an incident or an accident or something that you just need to be aware of. And of course, with this knowledge, things can be prevented. It's not all bad. It means you can prevent things. So make sure, if your mom's complaining about something, take it seriously. If your moon or your ascendant sit in sidereal Gemini, this means the Mars Ketu are transiting your 3rd house, and this will encompass July as well. And during this time, you might have problems with or for a sibling. So be cognizant that they could need help during this time. Could be accidents or health problems, or just maybe even disagreements between you and them. But all at the same time, with these 2 planets being in the 3rd house of travels, you might suddenly have to go out on a trip that you didn't plan. And it would probably not be so delightful, the circumstances around your travel plans, but it could mean going out quickly. Another thing is, I don't recommend traveling, especially by car. And you know what? We're all in cars at some point, so just be aware of your driving. Take it easy, take it slow. You'll be okay if you are cognizant and aware of what your surroundings are doing. Drive defensively. And another thing is, the 3rd house deals with learning and education. With these 2 powerful fiery planets, you're learning all sorts of new things, and possibly even doing some kind of writing, some kind of communications where you get information out there in a big way. So this can be your big debut, or writing a book, or publishing. This is power and energy. Let me just say that around those things. It's not so good for what the 3rd house rules in terms of people, which is siblings. If your moon or your ascendant sit in sidereal Leo, then this means this conjunction is on your ascendant at some point. It's in your 1st house. And this can mean that you have more energy, but this energy is not necessarily a good feeling energy. It can be anger, frustration, just things that really spur you on to get out there and do something. But yes, this is a time of action. You know what I find, that a lot of times when you talk about anger, anger can sometimes really spur us on to doing something, getting it done. When you get angry enough, you get out and you assess the problem, because it's just, you can't sit around anymore and let it bother you. You get angry enough to kick into action. That's what this will do. But do be aware that there can be accidents. I've seen where Mars, Ketu in the first house can be accidents, and you might find that there could be things affecting your head, such as headaches or accidents where you hit your head. So just be aware of this. Be more careful and cognizant about this. Now, if your moon or your ascendant sit in sidereal Virgo, then this means this Mars, Ketu are in your 12th house. The 12th house is the house that deals with secrets and things behind the scenes. This can mean some major uncovering of things. And because the 12th house deals with secret enemies, it usually deals with gossip behind your back that's not so in your favor. So people are talking behind your back, especially in the workplace. Be aware, and usually it's all boils down to jealousy. So you can't let it really get to you unless you have to do something legally about it. But there's stuff going on behind the scenes, people talking behind your back. What usually happens too with an event like this can be something from the past comes back to really haunt you and upset you. Something from the past, an incident or somebody nasty with a nasty problem or something to the sorts. I'm telling you this so you can protect yourself. It's not that it's all negative. We all go through difficulties in life, but this is a time of protection. And you know, when you know things before they happen, they don't hit you blindsided. You know, you're prepared and you can do more about it to protect yourself. That's what I'm saying. But you know, you might find that suddenly you have to go out of the country or travel somewhere. There's something to that effect. Long distance travels, and something that possibly you didn't plan on. So that's another thing. If your moon or your ascendant sit in sidereal Libra, then this Mars, Ketu are in your 11th house. And if you got to put them anywhere, the 11th house is probably the best because it's said to be an upachaya house, which means you overcome difficulties. And this could also mean that because the 11th house deals with friends and groups and organizations, some friends could turn on you. Some friends that you have to eliminate in your life. That's fine. Go for it, do it. It's time to get rid of those people that drain your energy. They are not there for any good service or purpose in your life. Get rid of them. Just eliminate the people that are not there for your best interest. That's a good thing. Now, another thing that this deals with is older siblings. So if you do have an older sibling, this could mean problems with them. It doesn't necessarily mean that you'll fight with them, but you could. It could mean that they're having issues. So it's one or the other or both, but this would cause problems with an elder sibling. Now, another thing the 11th house deals with is our hopes, our dreams, and our ambitions. And this means you have a little bit more courage to fight for it, to go after it, and to be one with it. That's what this is good for. If your moon or your ascendant sits in sidereal Scorpio, then this means this Mars and Ketu are in your 10th house. And the 10th house is the house that deals with work and career. And as I keep saying, this Mars Ketu is going to predominate all of our lives. So I know there's other aspects going on, but this is a focus. And while they're there in your 10th house, be aware that your boss could be jealous of you. So don't give them fuel. Don't put fuel on that fire, okay? They could be jealous of you. But all at the same time, Mars being in your 10th house can bring you job career opportunities. But another thing is with Ketu there, it could mean a change of jobs. Change of jobs, change of career. If that happens, I know you're ready. Because Ketu in the 10th house, eventually within this time period, you will change jobs or something within your career or your business changes pretty dramatically. That's what I'll say. It's all about your purpose, feeling a sense of purpose. You've got to find that. You've got to seek that, because otherwise you'll continue along the lines of being unfulfilled. If your moon or your ascendant sits in sidereal Sagittarius, then this means that this Mars Ketu is in your 9th house. And it actually means you're going to be changing your beliefs, your philosophies, what you believe in. And you will be questing after more spiritual knowledge. And if you're involved with the law in any way, look out, there could be some problems with that too, because the 9th house rules the law. But it also rules teachers, gurus, as well as your father. So you could have problems with the teacher if you're in college or higher academia. There's something about your school that could be an issue, but at the same time, or an issue with a teacher per se. But if your father's still around, this could be where your father and you have probably an argument or a fight. But if that's not the case, look after your father. It can mean that he needs your help in some way. And could be something like an accident or a sudden event concerning him. So look after that and be aware. And I wouldn't say it's the greatest time for traveling, but you might go on a trip unexpectedly. If your moon or your ascendant sits in sidereal Capricorn, then this means that this conjunction is happening in your 8th house, the Mars Ketu. And this is deep, dark stuff. Be aware of scandalous people around you trying to take advantage. It's a possibility this can occur. This is not an easy aspect. And in the 8th house, you might get into some deep, deep issues of psychoanalysis and healing. But it's not easy. You're going to deal with some disgrace, humiliation, but it has to heal. That's the 8th house. Furthermore, the 8th house, since it does deal with psychic abilities, you might find that you're more in touch with the spirit world and information comes to you. Be open and aware of that. This is a good time for that, but it's still a deep, dark time for transformation change that will not be easy. I got to say, it's a bit gut-wrenching what has to come out to heal. But on the other side, that's a transformation, a new person. So that's with the 8th house. And do be aware you could uncover some things that you didn't particularly want to know about. But you have to know about it to heal. That is 8th house energy, the research, the analysis, and the coming out. If your moon or your ascendant sits in sidereal Aquarius, then you have got this Mars Ketu in your 7th house. This is the house of the marriage partner. So if you are in a relationship, a committed relationship, this could represent some kind of big blow-up argument or breakup, but it needs to surface to heal. This is a good thing. It's not fun going through it, but it's a good thing. It has to happen to heal. Now, another thing is, if you're looking for a relationship and you're not in one, this could actually bring someone from the past. Or it can bring some old memories from the past about an old relationship that needs to be healed. Maybe you think you're over that person, it doesn't affect you at all, but there is something that needs to be attested to and worked on and healed from the past concerning your relationships. And or if this isn't the case, then it can mean that your partner may need help. They could have an accident or a problem. Be aware to be on guard to assist and help. If your moon or your ascendant sits in sidereal Pisces, then this means this Mars, Ketu are in your 6th house. The 6th house is the house of health and healing, and it is the house of accidents, and both Mars and Ketu can represent accidents. So please be overly cautious in your actions and what you're doing, particularly even around the workplace. And yes, you might find that some coworkers are not very agreeable to work with. There can be some blow-ups or even verbal attacks on you in your workplace or with your employees. Maybe they quit right when you need them the most. There's problems with employees or coworkers with this. And health-wise, could be a time that your health is suffering, so you need to build up your immune system. Yes, this is what is necessary and needed during this time. And you'll get through it with no problem, but it still has to be recognized and worked with. Health, avoidance of dangerous places, particularly in the workplace, and or coworkers and employees. Look out. Now, if you have a pet, this could mean danger to your pet too. I'm sorry. So just make sure that they are well taken care of. Don't let them out of the house where they can run out in front of a car or anything like that. And you'll get through it. You'll get through it with conscious awareness. That's what this is all about. Get through it and avoid. Avoid all the downside that this crazy aspect in all of our lives is going to bring some kind of contention. Let me say that. Well, I almost forgot to do the sign of Cancer for the month of June, so I can't do that. So I'm adding in today the sign of Cancer to let you know what the month of June is going to be like for you. So if your moon or your ascendant sit in sidereal Cancer, then this means that Jupiter Ketu will come together in your 2nd house. And the 2nd house deals with so many important things that between the months of June and July, you're going to find that everything around finances and money are a big focus. You will be focused on finances. And yes, there will be a lot of spending. You're going to find that there's going to be a lot of bills coming in, maybe some that you had not thought of that kind of catch you by surprise. So there's going to be a lot around money. So prepare now that there's going to be additional expenses that you didn't plan on. So another thing about this, because remember this conjunction of Mars and Ketu, which will be the focus for everyone. This will take place between the months of June and July. Now, the 2nd house is so important because it deals with not only money matters, but it also deals with family. And because it does deal with both of these things, there will be expenses and money that goes out concerning family matters. Now, another thing I will let you know that is very important for you to know is that this can also bring money in unusual ways. So even though I know there's going to be great expenditure and money going out, there's going to be money coming in, so you'll be okay. but the expenses will probably outweigh the input rather than the output. So the output will be heavier. But things around family will upset you. So there's probably going to be arguments, family arguments, because, you know, Mars is angry. And Ketu is definitely a planet that, well, they liken it to Mars. So putting those together, it's like a double Mars. So there's going to be issues around family matters. Don't provoke issues around family, because it won't turn out okay. You gotta focus in on that. That you've got to be more in a place of peace, finding peace and finding a way to calm others in the family. But chances are it's gonna be really, really tough. People are going to be on edge, people are going to be angry, and there's going to be a lot of fighting amongst the family, because the second house deals with this. And let me say this, yes, you're going to think, well, does she have anything good to say? What I am saying is these are two malefic planets, and where they are going to cause issues, but what I'm trying to do is help you to avert things. This is the most important thing for you to realize. We are averting the problems that could come with this powerful knowledge. And everyone's going to have this Mars Ketu somewhere. So everyone has something that they need to focus in on to help prevent problems that they could bring up. So the second house will deal with issues around marriage because, well, it's the 8th from the 7th, but that means that even in the area of your marriage, and so this kind of looks like all of our relationships are heated and full of anger and frustration, so keep it calm. This will avert so many things. Wait till August. It will be better. Now, another thing the second house deals with is your voice. So be careful what you're saying. Don't be provoking. Don't be angry. Think before you speak, because Mars being there can mean you'll just blurt out what comes to mind. And trust me, it will not be okay, because you will hurt people's feelings and they will hold on to those feelings, not just for a week or two, but maybe for a lifetime, because you've got to watch what you're saying. So the voice is so important. Another thing is what you're eating, what you're ingesting. These are two malefics. The second house deals with our mouth, what goes in it in terms of what we consume, as well as what comes out of it in terms of what we say. Choose your words wisely, but be aware of what you're eating and drinking, because this can make you sick. It could be even food poisoning, but if you have issues around eating and drinking, be aware, because you don't want to make yourself sick. So the second house dealing with family, dealing with money, dealing with intake, and dealing with our voice. These are all such important matters. And most of all, what most people are concerned about these days, your finances. So be aware that things are going to all of a sudden hit you that you didn't think that you're going to be spending money on, like a car breaking down or things around the house. Yeah, you're going to have to put money out. So prepare. And you will make the best of it. There's other good things going on, but I just wanted to give you a focus of what you need to pay attention to. Because let me just tell you, these two planets coming together will be the focus in our lives. And yours, I've just given you some valuable information to avert things and make life better. So with that, that concludes all 12 signs of the zodiac. I hope you enjoyed my dissertation. Yeah, it's not so uplifting and positive, but this is what we have to know to avoid the unhappy or crummy things in life. We can avoid them. That's what we want to know our charts for. And yes, there are so many other aspects happening. This isn't the only thing that's happening in your life, but this is a focus for this video because we're all going to go through something during this period. So with that, I think I'll close. If you would like more information on me, go to my website, galacticcenter.org. and sign up for my Galactic Planner, which is galacticplanner.com. And don't forget my university, University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.